All right. Morning, afternoon, all that good stuff. um, Nothing pleasant to talk about, really. We've had 2 losses since we last spoke.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
Um,
That's right.
yeah,
Not
2
good.
losses, and
The first loss seems like a long time ago.
it does, and when we'll have 2 more. Well, 2 more matches.
2 more losses.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
probably. Who knows?
If we lose to Norwich, oh, yeah, that
Jesus,
won't be good.
man.
But
Well,
anyway.
again, like I'm at a loss for words about this because Norwich, they could beat us, man. I mean, the way we're playing, the way we played, I had to look it up. So since January 1st, we like, our form has been shit this year. Obviously, 2022, it's been horrible.
Yeah.
We've won 6 times, which is great in the league. Not
this
the
year.
Europa stuff. So
in 2022.
In 2022, we've won
Okay.
6 matches, which is great.
Yeah.
We've won. Hey, there he is.
Sorry about that. My laptop wasn't playing ball, so I've just come on the phone.
Okay, yeah, no, nice to see you. Nice to see you, my friend. We're literally just talking about how, so we do this every Tuesdays. So lately, it's been we've had 2 matches to review and 2 matches to preview. So we're just talking about how this year, 2022, not the season, but in the league, we've won 6, we've lost 7 league matches this year, just this year alone, not even the whole season, and drawn 2. So 6, 7, and 2 in 2022 in the league. That's not good form, right, Noam?
It's not great. I'm just wondering, and you've obviously done the stats, and you have the advantage of me there. But I'm just wondering how many of those defeats came just after a Thursday night match in the Europa League. I think what it does say is that something that we've been probably boring the pants off people for the last 12 months on the fact that the squad is. We have a first team and not much behind it. It's not the strongest of squads. So where you're playing Thursday, Sunday, eventually something's going to give. And I think we're finding that out at the moment. So,
I mean, even I think our last win was April 3rd against Everton. And that was, there was quite a bit of time since that Tottenham loss, and we won Everton. So we had some time to regroup. You're right, and to get healthy there. And then not having Dawson on Sunday wasn't helpful, and again goes back to the lack of depth and injuries. And
I mean, to be fair though, I think if looking at the areas of the squad that needed strengthening back in January. I don't think that central defender was one of them. I think we had 4 central defenders on the books, and Bonner's been out, but it's exceptionally bad luck to find all 4 of your players potentially out. I mean, as it happened, Zuma came back, but we were looking at one stage this weekend that just gone with actually having no central defenders to pick. I thought Johnson did well against Chelsea, and even he's got a thigh injury at the moment. So,
no, Johnson did well.
So even the replacements are getting injured. I mean, I've got a tight hamstring. Even the supporters are injured now.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Oh, man. Wow. Have we lost anybody due to cards or anything like that for Frankfurt?
No,
we're all good.
No, we're all good. Declan was the only one potentially on a suspension, and his card is I think he's been wiped now. When you get to this stage, but they get wiped. So we're all clear on the disciplinary side of things.
Okay, and then so if we win, sorry, when we win on Thursday. we will not have another midweek game next week, right? I mean, so we'll just have obviously Norwich on Sunday, and then we'll have a week for City.
Whole week off before Manchester City.
That'll be helpful.
A long break for us. Yeah.
Are we? And do we have any? Do you know if we have anybody close to coming back? Maybe even for City. Maybe not so much Norwich or Frankfurt. Do you think there would?
The two players that we got on the list, as far as I'm aware, when I looked earlier, were Johnson, who's very doubtful for Thursday, and of course Ogbonna, who has only just started running on grass. And David Moyes has a habit of downplaying players' availability, but his comment was that he'd be amazed if we saw Ogbonna again this season.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Now a number of times he's sort of said, "Oh, so and so is very doubtful. I need to see him playing on the Saturday or Sunday." He does like to play the cards close to the chest, which is fair enough. But I think Ogbonna we'll see next season.
Yeah.
But so it's only Johnson at the moment. So touch wood.
All right. Well, we'll get right into it. And I'll start with Wally, and then we'll just go around. Your thoughts on Frankfurt's our match against Frankfurt, the one that we had. So we will start with Frankfurt, then we'll go to Arsenal, and then we'll give our previews. But Wally, what did you think about Frankfurt, man?
Yeah, like I was saying, that seems so long ago. I'm having trouble recalling what the hell went on. But I do remember that, Moyes did that. I like the thing where he was like playing possum, what we call in the States, quietly, no sign of Zuma in practice, wasn't talking about him. He was, maybe behind closed doors working out or something was the best he had. And then sure enough, he's starting. So that was really good. Other than that, I'm having trouble remembering the match. Other than
a goal in the first minute, right?
Oh, right. The goal. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that was very deflating. See, I put that out of my mind. I can't.
Good. I'm glad you can do that. Yeah.
And they had some good fast. They look like a well drilled team. I could see why they beat Barcelona at Barcelona. They had some good plays, and they were spraying around, hitting us on the counter.
Swift movement.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So they look good, even though their league form is trash. But I guess they're saving it for.
They're doing the same thing we're doing.
Yeah. That's what we finally did. I guess against Chelsea, Moyes finally stopped playing all the regulars and put in some of the lesser, rotated the squad a bit. So that was good to see that we were all in for the Europa League at that point. Unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Didn't play out the way you probably wanted. Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, so it was disappointing, especially that early goal now that you mentioned.
Gordon, what do you think, man? Mr. Noam?
Yeah, I think we kind of there was the early goal obviously is going to sort of knock the wind out of his sails very quickly in any case, but I think that I was a little bit concerned tactically. I don't think we set up ourselves right tactically. One of the problems we had was when Zuma came back, we moved Johnson out from centre back where he played against Chelsea and done very well.
Yeah.
And we moved him out, and he was effectively playing as a right wing back. Now, the problem with that is that his attacking instincts aren't great. He plays fine as a defender, but he was very unwilling to try and either take a player on or try and play the ball down the channels for Bowen to get onto. Pretty much every time the ball got out to him, he looked up and it would go inside or even back. Yeah. Now, that kind of took Bowen out of the game for long periods. And Bowen was one of the few players on the night who looked likely to cause them any problems. And we saw it again this weekend. I mean, Arsenal resorted to kick him. We'll talk about Arsenal later, I presume. But he was kicked all over the place. And it just seemed...
We were calling for... I mean, Wally and I were calling for Fredericks to start against Frankfurt. I mean, because leading up to that point, we were undefeated when Frederick started.
Yeah.
This year. So
I don't know if you know, Gordon, but
and he does tend to attack. He's more of an
Yeah.
attacking wingman.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm
But-
Ryan Frederick's biggest fan, if you don't already know
in
that.
case you didn't know.
Yes.
Okay. He your nephew or something, but
Yeah. No, I just love pace. I love to see that pace. And
I mean,
I'm willing to block out every other aspect of his game to enjoy his pace.
It's funny. I mean, I don't know if you know my knees up Mother Brown colleague, known colloquially as Pinky or the Pink Palermo. He's probably your nemesis when it comes to Frederick.
I'm sure.
Fredericks and Diop are, I think, are his two least favourite players.
Yes.
But
definitely a controversial pick. Yeah.
Certainly, I think Fredericks would have offered us more going forward. But then, as we all know, I mean, David Moyes does have a bit of a cautious streak about him, and may have been concerned about the attacking threat on that our right hand side, which would then you pick Johnson. But it did seem a sort of a waste of a whole side of the pitch, really, to me anyway. But Johnson's out, of course, or I think he's rated at best 50-50 for Thursday. So that question won't arise, but it will be interesting to see who gets picked and how we line up at the back. That's going to be key to this one.
Yeah. We're hoping that it's Fredericks.
Well, you know what? If Ryan Fredericks starts, we are undefeated as long as he's playing on his correct side.
Oh, there you go.
That's my new statistic. Yes.
Yeah. What the hell was that?
So we're undefeated on any games played on a Thursday when there's a white in the month with Fredericks in the side.
Exactly.
When the sun's in Uranus and Pluto's in conjunction with Neptune. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That makes sure you qualify it enough there.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got to have some positivity in this mess.
Yes.
Yeah. So I thought we again, any team that would go down 1-0 so fast against a side that just looked effortless in the first 20 minutes of the whole match, really. I mean, they really did. And then their crowd was bumping and extremely loud, and we did get back into it. Obviously, we did. And I don't know, what were your thoughts when we did you think that there was still a chance about, like, say, even close to halftime or even at halftime, Gordon, like that we could still even nick something from this?
There was. I didn't think it would have been a case of nicking it, actually. I thought that there was a spell in the sort of 10-15 minutes before halftime where they were sitting back quite deeply. They didn't seem interested in attacking. And the pressure was beginning to build and build and build, and the equaliser when it came was the least we deserved. And at that point, when the equaliser came, I thought, well, we're going to go on to win this. As it happened, the second half they came out of the blocks quite quickly. It was one of those games though where we didn't play great, but I thought we were worth a draw out of it. It was one of those games where none of the little things that you need to go for you actually went right. So in the build up to their goal, there was a spell of about 5 minutes where we kept getting these little blocks in, and they'd just fall handily to an Eintracht player. Where the ball could have gone anywhere, one foot either side, we're on the break, and we got a load of those in the build up to that goal. And I'm just thinking, if we didn't have bad luck there, we would have had no luck at all. Yeah. And then tell me that Bowen didn't deserve a goal at the end there.
Yeah.
Oh right. Yeah.
And it was funny. We had 15 shots. Of course, only 2 of them were on target. Yeah. But we had more possession, more passes. Our pass accuracy was better. We had less fouls, no yellows, and only called offsides 3 times. We had 8 corners. So set pieces has really been an ongoing issue. It seems like recent time.
Yeah, recently, and I don't know why this should be the case, but Cresswell used to take corners, a lot of them, and he seems to have stopped taking them. Now, if that's maybe because they think, in the Premier League they've got wise to Cresswell's deliveries, or I don't know. It's just recently he seems to have stopped taking them. But you got Bowen taking them and Fornals, but anyone but Cresswell, and our Cresswell can deliver a dead ball. We saw that with his goal the other week. So, excuse me. It just seemed a few odd things that, tactically that we've changed, not necessarily for the better. But I have no idea why he stopped taking the corners. But
and lastly, I'll ask Wally, and then I'll ask you too. The 2 goals that we gave in, was it? What do you think, Wally? Was it defensive errors, or was it like goalkeeper error?
Yeah, I'm trying. I felt like the first one we just weren't, ready. It was,
we weren't awake yet.
It was just we weren't there yet. I think the second one, I'll tell you what, Areola he saved it initially. The second one, he saved it. But like you said, Gordon, the ball was going to them. When he parried it out, instead of going to one of our players, it went to one of theirs, and they just poked it in, I think.
Well, he hit him and went in. He didn't know anything about it, really. The play.
Yeah. And also, and with Bowen's chance at the very end where he did the bicycle, I mean, that if that doesn't hit their keeper, it comes out to Souček. We had 2 guys in the box there ready to, but instead of coming to one of ours, it hit the keeper and went to one of their players. We just, like you said, we did not get the luck of the bounce last Thursday. So
what do you think, Tom?
Yeah, we didn't get the right. I mean, as I say, it wasn't our greatest game. Let's put our hands up straight away and not kid ourselves. It wasn't our best European performance, but it was. We hit the metalwork a number of times, about 2 or 3 times. Bowen should have scored in the first half, and
unlucky. You're saying. Is that what you're saying? We were. I thought we were worth a draw, and I agree with that.
But I mean, 2-1's not the worst result in the world. We're still just a goal down. The away goals rule has ceased to be. Yeah. So the fact that we've let in 2 at home is not in itself a potential disaster. And we did enough in there to show that we can score against them. So I'm optimistic.
Good. All right. So let's talk about Arsenal before we get into our little previews. So unlike Frankfurt, the stats were just the opposite. Well, I can't say completely. Arsenal definitely had more shots. It was 13-8. They had 7 on target versus our 3. We did have more possession. That's crazy. It's not usually like us to do that. I don't know.
I think it was close.
Significantly
right?
more passes. Wow.
Yeah.
But they had 7 corners to our 3, and their corners obviously worked in their favor, clearly. Thoughts on that? We'll start with Noam, and then go to Wally, and then I'll get my thoughts on the Arsenal match. And remember, leading up to the match, Wolves lost, so things were going our way. And the players must know this, right? Going into the match.
Yeah. I mean, it was we came up against Arsenal's sort of anti-football, really. Their sort of sole aim was to do. I don't know if you got the stats on fouls, but not all of them were given. But they have a tactic, and much like Liverpool, in fact, that when there's potential break on, they'll give away a niggly little foul, 10 yards either side the halfway line, breaks up the play, and they were doing that all the way through. I mean, the irony in Bowen getting booked for avoiding a studs-up challenge when he was kicked black and blue all over the place during the game. Poor referee Mike Dean at the best of times, and I, for one, am really glad he's retiring at the end of the season.
Is he?
So, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. that fridge over there, I've got a bottle of champagne that I'm going to open up at the end of the season. Genuinely, he has been blighting. He has been a zit on the face of football for far too many years. And don't get me started on him. We'll be here all day. Worst referee ever.
Definitely.
So, there you go.
Mr. Ray has joined us.
Ray.
How are you, Ray? It's been a long time. How you been?
I'm good. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan now, as you can see.
Yeah, I see. Yes.
Wow.
Is that from like WrestleMania or something like that when you're out there? Or
Yeah.
Good time.
Yeah, it was good fun. It was good. Actually,
Dallas is fun. Yes.
So you're talking about Mike Dean, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
How could we not?
Well, kind of, sort of. Not getting into it, but yeah, that's a whole other show.
I stopped myself on the grounds that I think he might want to go home at some stage tonight.
We're talking about basically like we're just going. Basically, we already talked about the Frankfurt match, so we're at the Arsenal match right now. So just your thoughts on the Arsenal match, I guess.
So the Mike Dean incident, I'm a bit worried that the referees are going to be becoming more like the players. And there's not enough characters in the game. So back in the day, listen to me out, right? So back in the day, we used to have Gaza, we used to have Vinnie Jones, we used to have all these people that were a bit of characters, and I'd say about it, maybe a bit more interesting. And I think with the referees now, with these characters going out of the referees, they're going to become more robots and more technology based. So I'm kind of worried that all the characters are leaving the football industry.
I think you're mistaking for you're using the word character as a euphemism for somebody who likes to be the centre of attention. If you have a look on Knees Up Mother Brown and look at match reports going back as far as 2003, the number of odd decisions that are completely game changing. Now, I don't believe he can be that incompetent in every single game that he does.
But
So he's got to be doing this deliberately. And sorry, I get your point about you want human beings, you want decent characters, but your Gazas, your DiCanios even, I pay my money to watch them. I don't pay my money to watch Mike Dean.
Mike.
In fact, I would pay extra if it meant he wasn't refereeing.
Well, the thing is, with Mike Dean, he's not refereeing our game every week. He's refereeing other games and stuff like that. And I just feel like some of these characters in the game are just being taken out, and you're not going to see people's personalities. Like it's hard for people like Declan Rice and even Antonio. We know they're great characters, and we see a lot of their quirks and their funniness. Antonio dressed up as a snowman driving the car and something packed on. Right?
Yeah.
I'm sure it was funny at the time, but I think it's quite funny now after a while.
Yeah.
So who's going to step? Hold on. Somebody's got to fill his shoes. So is that Anthony Taylor? Is that who's the next most incompetent character? Who would that be?
None of them are any good. The problem is that here's a stat for you. Since the PGMOL, the organisation that supplies referees, set up the select group, okay, more people have walked on the moon than have been demoted from that select group. Genuinely. That is it's once you're in there, it doesn't matter how bad you are, you cannot.
It's like the postal service. Yes.
You can't get kicked out of it. Yep. Now that's got to be wrong. And people say, well, players make mistakes. Yeah, players make mistakes. If they keep doing it on the time and time again, you get dropped, you get transferred, your team gets relegated. What happens to the referees?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raymond, you avoided the actual answer. So Arsenal, come on. Remember this?
So
what's your thoughts?
I thought we played really well, actually, considering that we had a makeshift team. You could see that Moisey was only taking it half serious. He basically didn't want to get a shoe in. He thought he might get a draw at best. Because like if you thought we was going to win against Arsenal with that team, a bit harsh to think that. But I think he tried some different stuff. Like he had a go with it. So like I was quite happy with the performance. You know, it wasn't the best performance that we got, but I can oversee that because I know what's coming up Thursday. That's the most important game for us. We need to get to that.
We have to. It's like
we have to. Yeah. And I feel like he's got it in his mind, and he brought on some of the other players to give them a bit of some game time, so they don't get too rusty, and they've still got a bit more urgency in their legs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm quite happy with the result against Arsenal. To so sport, I thought we could have got a result, a nick to draw at least out of them, but it just wasn't meant to be. So move on. Don't dwell on it too much. Frankfurt, here we come.
That's right. Wally.
Yeah,
I didn't forget about you. Your thoughts on Arsenal.
No, I was
He's
intrigued.
like, yes, somebody else is in the room. I don't have to talk. Yeah. Anyway.
How was Fredericks, Wally?
Well, yeah, that's what I was really intrigued. You know, what was going to happen in defense, because Dawson obviously was out. You know, Zuma made that surprise return last week. So, yeah, probably we were thinking, he would be in there. But what else was going to happen? You know, there's just so much choice. I didn't realize Johnson was injured. So when we saw like Soufal, Cresswell, Fredericks, and Zuma, and then you know, even in that hour after it was released, there was some, you know, permutations you could see because you didn't know who was going to be on the left or the right. If it was going to be maybe 5 at the back with Fornals on the left and Fredericks as the right wing back. So it turned out it was a straight back 4 with my man Ryan Fredericks on the left, which, you know, I think he's played there like for 5 minutes in one match before. So it's not his normal side. I thought he did pretty good. His tendency was to just get it and then pass it backwards typically, but he did pull out his pace a few times. So that was fun to see. But yeah, going to that Bowen issue, I mean, I thought we'd already had like 2 red cards with, you know, last ditch tackles. And so when Mike Dean is going to his pocket, I'm thinking, is it going to be yellow or red? And I was like, oh, he pulled out a yellow. I was like, okay, whatever. But then it was like, wait a minute. He's giving it to Bowen, the yellow card to Bowen. And I was like, wait, what? What is going on? And so, yeah, I mean, okay, you know, I'm an American, so I don't really know the detail rules on that. But it seems like if their keeper Ramsdale's going studs up, you know, Bowen's got to jump out of the way, right? What else does he do? Okay, if he falls to the floor after that, I mean, you know, but you call that a dive? Wow. So I was
That's not a dive, is it? He's just hurdling out of the way to I mean, there are a number of things here. Cards on the table, although it's lapsed, I have been a qualified referee in my time.
Okay, great.
So there are 2 things to look at on this. Firstly, the one we can dispense with very quickly. Would it have been a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity? And they have this thing called the 4 Ds that you've got to consider for this sort of thing. So it's the distance, playing distance between the attacker and the ball at the time of the foul, which that wasn't far. Then you have the direction of play. Now that's where it would have fallen down because obviously Bowen's pushed it past and it's going wide of goal. It has to be going in on goal, really, to be a denial of goal scoring opportunity. They then look the distance from the goal, which again, had it been more central, we might have had an interesting conversation there. And then the number of covering defenders. So I'm happy that wasn't a denial of a goal scoring opportunity, but I'm not happy that Bowen got booked for it because if you look at Ramsden, the studs are up, and you know I mean,
clearly
there doesn't have to be contact for that to be a foul. Yeah. And I think if Bowen hadn't sort of hurdled that, he'd be looking at stitches and potential leg breaker with those studs up. So,
Right.
my decision on that, even if it would have been a free kick to West Ham, a yellow card to Ramsden, I don't think it was reckless or endangering enough to warrant a red, but it might have been pretty close. But it's what it certainly wasn't was an attempt to deceive the referee. Which is what you get the yellow for. It's simulation, and that simply wasn't that. So. If you want to see diving, go and watch Salah every week, and you'll see.
God,
He's a master of. If that had been him, he'd have basically had a little tap at. He'd have kicked Ramsden and gone over and he'd have got all that. So
all right. Oh man! All right, so I guess let's talk about Thursday before we head into Sunday's Norwich match. So. Start with Wally. What's your thoughts and
I think as far as I think he'll go, strong as he's got. So I think we'll have Dawson and Zuma, and I guess since Johnson's injured, we'll have Sufal on the right, Cresswell on the left, and then probably the usual, Rice and Souček and Fornals. I think Lanzini, Bowen, and Antonio. And as far as, I'm not too optimistic, to be honest, because Frankfurt looked really good last week. I think our only hope is if they get too, nervous being at home and on the cusp of, a final, maybe we just have to go in there relaxed and, with no expectations and just go for it, and hopefully they're tight and nervous and not like relaxed like they were last week. And I think their home form doesn't look as good as their away form. So that's my hope is they're just too nervous and tight.
Yeah, well they need to do something to rile up Declan Rice, I think. They need to tweet something or go on TV and say something.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Because they as well, Frankfurt, they rested at least 4 players for this match on Thursday, so that they're starters. So, we'll see. But so, what's your prediction, Wally?
Unfortunately, I'm going to say it's a draw, and Frankfurt goes through. So like a 1-1.
Wally, what are you doing?
Yeah, what can I say? I got to be realistic. I called the 2-1 on against Arsenal. So.
Man!
Unfortunately.
All right. On to the next one, anyway.
Yeah, hopefully somebody's more optimistic.
All right. Thoughts and then prediction.
I'm more optimistic. You'll be pleased to know.
All right.
A number of little unconnected reasons. Now, you touched on their home form there, and I've been just before I came on, I started editing the rubbish that I get sent by Preview Percy for our website, and try to translate that into English. But there was. He's come up with some stats about their home form. Their last 6, they've lost 3 and drawn of 2 of their last 6 at home in the league. Now, okay, in the league, they may have been doing a lot like us, resting players, that sort of thing. So, but in the Europa League, they've had 5 home matches in this year's Europa League, and they've only won 1 of them. That was against Olympiacos in the group stages.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Everything else has been a 1-1 draw, apart from I think they drew 2 each with Antwerp in the group stages. Everything else has come up 1-1. Now, okay, draw's no use to us, but it does sort of give you the impression that home advantage may not be all that for them this time round. So we've got that. We've got the fact that we didn't play well, but even allowing for that, we were unlucky not to come away with a draw, I thought, in last Thursday's game. And we've seen in this competition, Europa League, that when we've been up against it a bit, we've actually dug deep, and we've been been really useful. I mean, talking referees, that abomination against Lyon, for example. We dug deep there. I mean, playing most of the match with 10 men, and to lead. Okay, we ended up. It was inevitable. I think we were going to let one in there with only 10 men, but to come away with the draw from that, and then the result out there, which was a marvellous game of football. I think we've beaten better teams in this competition in the form of at least one better team in the form of Seville.
Yeah. Definitely.
And now this may not be one for it may not be a good day Thursday night for me to stop taking my blood pressure medication, for example. But I think we'll go through. I'm hedging the bets a little. It's either going to be I think we'll go to extra time, and I think we might get the ultimate winner in extra time. But if it goes to penalties, I think we'll prevail on penalties. So it's not going to be for the faint-hearted, but I think we'll go through. So I'm going to go for 3-1 after extra time there.
Awesome.
Brilliant.
Ray,
Like that.
thoughts and then prediction.
So, I'm always nervous and I'm always cautious when we play a German team, no matter what, international or club games, whatever, because it's Germany. They're always hard to beat and hard to break down, no matter what. However, this team, West Ham, this season, we are not the West Ham Bold. We are hard to beat ourselves. We're hard to break down. I know Frankfurt played around us a few times in the London Stadium, but I think it's going to be a completely different game away. I feel like we're going to have the legs, too much for them to actually go into extra time. I think we're going to win it by 90 minutes. I think it's going to be close to like a 2-0 or 3-0 win again. I feel it's going to be a Moyes masterclass on how to beat a German club. Well, I hope so, at least. So, yeah, I'm going to go West Ham win, 90 minutes, 2-0.
Excellent.
There you go, Wally. Wow. Cheer up, mate.
Yeah, wow. I'm feeling better already.
I don't have any unconfidence that we're not going to win.
I think we'll go through it.
Yeah.
So my prediction, my thoughts will be, it's one of those situations where we've been here before, and especially even with Lyon, like everybody was scared to death going away to Lyon, and saying that most West Ham supporters were saying we'll go into extra time, we'll win there, or we'll go to penalties and we'll win there, and then we just took them to town, man. You know what I'm saying? We took them out for a night and slipped them some roofies, and it was great.
It just shows what you can do with an honest ref, though, doesn't it? I mean,
well, that's the difference. Yeah, so there must have been a lot more confidence in the players knowing that ahead of the match, right? So,
the chat we had, the chat we had, we'd had him against Seville as well. I think the Lyon away game, and I thought we had a splendid game. Everyone has a go at me because I'm always having a go at referees, but the referee in that second leg had a splendid match. And he was everything that the referee in the first game wasn't. So, so
I'm trying to figure out. So
he's no Mike Dino.
Exactly, but does anybody know the actual number? I see it's 5% allocation, but like what does anybody know the figure of West Ham supporters that'll be there?
I think the official allocation is slightly less than we gave them. I think we gave them 3, and I think ours is 2.5. It's something like that. That's the official allocation.
2,500 West Ham supporters is like 30,000. So yeah.
So
I'm proud. Yeah.
So, and good luck to them. There'll
be a lot more supporters there at the outside the ground.
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, I was shown the information sent to for West Ham supporters by the local constabulary in Frankfurt, and they've said if you haven't got a ticket but you're in Frankfurt, watch the game in the city centre, because I think the ground's on the outskirts of the town and you have to get a train out there. So there's nowhere around there to watch it. It's not like in a you've got a pub around the corner. It's out on the outskirts. So anybody who happens to be watching this, happens to be going, I don't know if there will be, stick to the city centre, and plenty of bars showing it in there, of course.
Awesome. Yeah. So I say, I didn't get my prediction, but I have to say 7-1. All right. So 7-1 West Ham. All right.
7-1.
Nice.
I have to say it every match until we actually win 7-1. That's the law.
Eintracht have a 7-goal reverse on their CV in European football. I was a bit young to know. Yeah, a bit young to notice it at the time. I was only about 2, but my dad raved about the match, and I was later shown a video of it, and I had to say it was a marvellous game of football. They went down 7-3 to Real Madrid in the 1963, what we used to call the European Cup final, what they now call the so-called Champions League.
Yeah.
Which was a fantastic game of football. It was played up at Hampden Park, of all places. It was the final that year.
Wow.
And it was, I have to say, yeah, what a great game of football that was, having seen it on video. Worth a look up on YouTube. I'm sure the goals will be on there. And well worth a look. So,
all right. So let's get into Norwich. All right. So we'll start with Ray and then go around the other way. So Ray, thoughts on the Norwich match on Sunday and prediction.
So Norwich is already relegated, as we all know. Sundays is not a good day for us to win matches because after Europe we always seem to lose. However, this is Norwich. This is not any other team. This is like playing Division 1. I don't know, for the Premiership. So I think this is going to be a pretty straightforward, easy game. I think our C team could actually beat Norwich at this rate. And we need a win to keep up with Man United and keep up in the league in the 6th position. Just keep the pressure on them. I think we're going to finish 7th at the end of the season. So, but I think it's going to be like a 2-0, 3-0 win for West Ham against Norwich. I just can't see them scoring. You know, if they do, 1 at the most, and I think we're just going to have too much for them.
Yeah, was it 2 years ago when they were in the league? We were at Norwich as well. This time of the season, we beat them like 5-0, and I think Antonio got like 4 goals, something like that.
Yeah, it was 4. Antonio got all 4 in a 4-0 win.
4-0 win. Okay, yeah. So he had all 4. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Could be the same.
But
could be the same.
I don't know who makes these freaking odds, but Norwich has a 22% win probability, 25% draw, and West Ham has a 53% win probability. I don't know who the hell makes this shit up, but anyway, maybe it's just they're looking at our league form and saying, and also the fact that we're playing after a Thursday, and like you guys said, maybe giving Norwich a little bit there, and now they really don't have anything to play for other than their jobs. And maybe we're showcasing themselves for other Premier League teams as players. Maybe they get that to play for.
Is there anyone that plays for Norwich you would take?
I'm just saying, like, if they do well against West Ham, like now they're in the shop window, I guess you'd say. You know what I'm saying? For themselves. So if they hadn't played well up to this point, now would be the time against West Ham. You know what I'm saying? Like to say, hey, look at me, please sign me, save me, don't let me go to championship. You know, me personally, because that's how Premier League players play. You know. Anyway, yeah. So where were we at? So you said do your thoughts prediction. No, thoughts prediction.
Thoughts, yeah, we should do in this one. It just occurred to me when I was on the way home. I wondered when the last time Norwich actually played Fulham in the league, because they seem to swap places in the Premier League with monotonous regularity, don't they? I mean, Norwich have been relegated. I think this is the 4th consecutive time they've been relegated from the Premier League. So, I think we should win this. It's a nice away trip, and you know, some good beers up there. I shall miss it next season. And but who would we pick from anybody from Norwich? Well, nobody's done their reputation any good. There were big things.
I'm just saying, sir. No, we don't need it.
But there were big things. I mean, there are big things expected of that young lad from Chelsea, Billy Gilmore, who's Scottish international, decent player, and of course, you know, he's gone there and and disappeared in a sort of a haze of canary yellow. So, yeah, I think we'll win. I'll be generous, give them a goal. Let's say we'll win 3-1.
3-1. All right. So, yes, yeah. Wally, thoughts and prediction?
Well, I think because we won't have a game midweek following, right? So I think Moyes, if he wants to, can go, strong with full starters. So I think that's a good sign. So I think we're going to win. I'll be optimistic for once, and not 4-0, but maybe 4-1. How about that? Because I think
steady, Wally.
Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, I think like you say, they're relegated. They've really nothing to play for other than sort of individual glory, which may not work out from a team standpoint. So I think we'll win handily and easily.
It's just weird because again, it's you put yourself in their position, and that's what I'm trying to say is that I don't think they're gonna sack the manager. Obviously, they're gonna try to give an opportunity to help bring them back up again. They did that already, and he brought them back up. So there's players on the squad that are going to be trying to fight for their positions for next season, knowing that they're not going to get picked up by another Premier League team. And then there's those other idiots that, them and their agents, they're going back and forth. They're like, no, you need to play well. Like you're the best you've ever played so we can get you out of Norwich and it's still in the Premier League next season. So there will be, they're not going to lay down, but they might not play well. That's the thing. That's why I think 7-1 would be great. As Matt said here, Tim, I think you might get your 7-1 result against Norwich. And let me tell you, the day that it happens, I'm going to have T-shirts printed 7-1, and then the name of the match and the date and everything else, and then on the back it says "I told you so." And then we'll sell those. Okay. So, all right. What else is there?
One thing to note. Yeah.
Go ahead.
One thing I wanted to say also is that I think I saw a video, Gio maybe said that if, with one more win in the Premier League, we will, probably get the 7th spot and be in the Conference League, which honestly, I like that. I think that's a nice, European experience for us, even though some people don't think it's that great. But I think following, the season we've had that's been good, but really hard fighting on all different fronts, that if we were to get that Conference League, I think that would be a nice thing. So I hope that will also spur the players on, to win.
As it stands,
7-1, right?
7-1. Well, as we need to, yeah. As it stands, Wolves has a match in hand, and they're 3 points behind us. But obviously, we have better goal difference now. If they win the next match 7-1, then they go above us in goal difference.
No.
But that isn't likely for them to do it. No, I can't.
Their remaining matches, I think, are tougher than our. We have Man City, but also Norwich and Brighton. I think they have Liverpool, Man City, and
how
maybe
awesome
Brighton.
would it be to beat Man City 7-1? Oh.
As a kid, I saw us win 5-1 up at Main Road, the old Main Road ground, when I was about 9 or 10, I think, something like that. It was it was the first away game I ever went to outside London, and 5-1. It was it's quite a famous game. In fact, it was the first game that Jimmy Greaves played for us, and Jimmy Greaves, God bless him, had a habit of every professional match that he ever, every professional team he ever played for, he always scored in his debut. And he stuck away too. Jeff Hurst stuck away too. But the game will always be remembered for good old Ronnie Boyce. Joe Corrigan in the Manchester City goal gathered up the ball and he was wide of his goal. and did a drop kick basically to Ronnie Boyce, who was just on the halfway line. It didn't touch the ground; he just wanted it straight back into the net. And Corrigan's just jogging back to net. Watch this ball come straight over his head into the net. Incredible goal. And have a look at the pitch as well at Old Main Road. There is a beautiful mud heap, proper football pitch.
Yes, I have seen that.
Nice.
It's so funny that what money can do. And now Newcastle, 3-4 years time will be like the next Man City. They'll be like a new top 6 club with Chelsea and all those guys, or maybe not so Chelsea. Maybe Chelsea will come down again, and Newcastle will take their place up there with all that money. But now, since you guys, I haven't had you on the show yet, I'm going to ask both of you, Ray and Noam. We'll start with Ray. So, who's your Hammer of the Year? And who do you actually? I'm sorry, it's a two-parter. So, who do you think's going to get Hammer of the Year? And then who would be your personal Hammer of the Year? Like if it's not the same person.
I think it's going to be Declan Rice. I think that's quite obvious, and he probably does deserve it. But my Hammer of the Year has got to be Jared Bowen. I just think he's had such a great season. I know he doesn't get the plaudits of Declan Rice, but he's not far behind. He's probably been our best consistent forward that we've had. He's that overhead kick went in. What a beautiful kick that was. Oh, mate. Yeah. He's done so well for us. For someone that's come from literally a non-league team to the Premiership to Europe, and he looks like he could probably kick on another season and a little bit higher. Going, if we get in the Champions League, what a story that is for that kid. So, yeah, Jared Bowen, he's a mate of mine as well. So, I'm a bit biased.
So that's pretty much what happened. I think last time we talked about this, Wally, everybody said pretty much that Rice should get it probably.
Right.
He probably will get it just because of how amazing he's been all season. Yeah. Like more consistent than anybody else. But yet, even the chat room, they were all saying either Bowen, Dawson.
You
know what I mean? And
Dawson's
yeah. Is like a personal favorite one, and I think there was somebody else. Who was the other one that was? I think there was like 3 other people. There was 3 people besides Rice going around that like. Maybe not. Okay. Anyway, no.
Yeah.
All right. Wally, you're the Hammer of the Year. There you go.
Didn't I say that a lot about West Ham? That we don't just look at the shiny toy of Rice all the time, or we don't look at them kind of players. We appreciate, a £2 million defender.
Yeah.
We thought was going to be rubbish. We should not have bought him, and yet he's turned a lot of West Ham fans around, if not all of them. And we appreciate what he has done. Fair play to Dawson. I didn't want Dawson.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
I wanted Tompkins back.
Anyway, he's like proved us all wrong. Outside their face.
No, Hammer of the Year. Who you think's going to win? And then who is your personal favorite? Someone different.
I think Declan Rice will win, and it will be deservedly so. I think when I get to cast my vote, I'll cast it that way myself. But definitely honourable mention for Mr. Ballon Dawson.
Yes.
He's. We signed him and then basically stuck him on the bench for about 3 or 4 months a couple of years ago, and we'd all forgotten about him. It had been, we knew he was there. He was on loan, wasn't he? But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he got picked, and you know what you're getting with him. You get 90 minutes of solid graft. He'll throw his body in the way of things. I mean, he's broken his nose a couple of times already this season, and £2 million, and I might venture to suggest that Watford might not be going down if they had somebody of Dawson's caliber in their team. Yeah,
good point.
Couldn't happen to a nicer bunch, but but no, I appreciate Bowen as well. But those 3 will be the top 3. I'd certainly vote for Rice though, because I think he's been head and shoulders above everybody else.
Most consistent. I mean,
And
I think he may have had like 2. Sub-average games like all season. Like the rest were like above average or great, like one or the other. So lastly, before we head out of here, I'm going to ask both you guys, and also Wally. I'll start with Wally, and then we'll go around. the final question, and anybody in the chat, feel free to jump in on this one. This is one I just pulled out of my ass.
Uh-oh.
So,
I don't want to touch it.
you
I
mentioned
don't wanna
Bowen, and I'm
touch
like,
it
hold on
then.
a second. How many? All right, ready? Are you ready for this, Wally?
Okay.
All right. So, how many goals does Bowen need to score to become like a Dean Ashton or a DeCanio in the eyes of a West Ham supporter? Like, you become almost legendary. Is he there yet? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think, what does he have, like 10 or 11 now?
Just in total, his career, I guess you'd say,
Oh,
for
his
West
career.
Ham. Like, how many? Yeah.
Well, I think.
What does this guy need to do? I mean, because he's banging
Yeah.
goals like insanely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they did. Like he scores when he wants.
Right. Well, I think Antonio is our leading Premier League scorer, so he has around 50 goals. So I think if Bowen gets,
which is pretty good for a winger.
Yeah, or a right back.
Right back. There you go.
Yeah.
Right back.
So, or a long throw specialist.
Yeah,
the
there
guy
you go.
that does the long throws.
So you think he needs to surpass that? So even though Dean Ashton didn't do that,
well, that's true.
DeCanio didn't score as many as Antonio. You know
yeah, I'm still going to say 50 goals. How about that? 50.
All right. No.
I don't think that it works that way. It's just, genuinely, I mean, certainly if he scores sort of like 50, 100 goals and keeps banging them in, then that sort of plaudit will come his way. But
so is it more of a character thing, or what is it?
I mean, West Ham. I mean, you've only got to look at. Mark Noble, for example, who's by and large acknowledged to be a sort of club legend because he's been with us all his life. Now, on his own admission, he will say that he has played alongside better players than him over the years, but he's been there and he sort of bleeds claret and blue like the rest of us, and so you get that sort of thing. Again, perhaps legends too strong a word, but look at players like James Collins. You get the ironic Ginger Pele nickname, and but there's a certain something on an indefinable
Maybe I phrased
quality.
it wrong. Yeah, I think I phrased the question wrong. I think it was
Dawson's going that way because but
right.
there's certain there's a certain I really couldn't describe it. I don't know what this so legends to me are not just about the stats. It's about how they handle themselves with the club. I mean, Antonio will always raise a smile. There'd always be goal celebrations and remodeling brick walls and things like that in his car. But there's always going to be. I mean, Zuma gets. I mean, for all the wrong reasons, really. Zuma gets sort of cult hero status at the moment because every time he touches the ball, you get 50,000 people going Zoom at him. Which obviously sounds like a bit like a boo, but everyone's going Zoom sort of thing. So, which after recent events, you could be forgiven for thinking. So I mean, I'm going back years, and there are all sorts of players that you kind of love at the club, and you think. I've seen better players than him play for us, but I go back to the '60s and all sorts. So I mean, Clyde Best. We had better forwards than Clyde Best, but he was a lovely big bloke, sort of thing, and we all loved him. I'm not going to put a number on that.
If Bowen first and foremost, he needs to stay with the club, not go to Liverpool or whatever they're saying, or wherever else. But every time he scores, man, he loves that badge. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good gesture.
I mean, as I say, I mean, you look at players. I mean, over the years, when we had Trevor Morley, for example, scored shed loads of goals and got us up and things like that.
Yeah.
But and nice guy, I'm sure, but nobody would say he's a legend, and yet. There are players who've scored less. And
some people argue that Tevez is a club legend, even though he barely even played for us. And he just kept us up,
Tevez was with us for most of the season and really only sort of came good in the last, sort of the last quarter of it. And yet people love Tevez, So
Ray, what I guess just you.
So,
whatever you want to say, man.
I agree. And what Bowen needs, he just needs a moment of magic, a moment of, look at Winston Reid in the last game of the season. He's a club legend, not just because of what he's done before, but he had that moment for West Ham at last game at
one
Bowen.
last game of Bowen.
Yeah, Tevez had that moment against Man United for West Ham, keep us up. It's them sort of things that can make you a club legend. And let's just say, if we do get to Seville, and Bowen scores the winning goal, or he scores a worldie of some sort, and gets us into something, he's going to be known as a club legend, and probably a lot of the players there will be known as club legends.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's all about
more of a moment, something
Who else has had
crucial like
moments?
that.
Yeah, we've had loads of people that have had.
I wouldn't call Vaz Teo a legend, but like he did something legendary for us. He scored that winning goal that brought us back in the Premier League where we've been since. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for Vaz Teo and that fucking hat trick against Brighton that year, and anyway, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess I just thought and rephrase it. That's what happens when you pull shit out of your ass.
Yeah.
And just to say, if we do get to the final
question, then it's rephrased every single person we talk to all the way around.
Yeah.
It's not the first place I'd look for a question, I will admit.
I'm not a journalist. Hey, Jesus. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me. Ray, thank you so much for coming on in, and I appreciate that. Noam, always a pleasure talking to you. If you guys haven't seen, we did interview Noam a while back. It's on our channel. You can take a look at that, but make sure you follow him on Knees Up on the Ground. So let's actually do that. Ray, what are you doing these days? How can we find you on social media, or are you there? And what's the deal?
To be honest, I'm just at the bar at work. There's so much going on.
So if you're in Liverpool, what do you do? What do these people do?
Coyote Ugly. Yeah, just come see me at Coyote Ugly on Bowl Street in Liverpool.
Drinks on Ray.
Yeah. If you come over, then come up.
I will. All right, let's go. Wally, let's get the jet. Let's get the private jet.
Oh, yeah. Right. That's right. Yeah.
Private jet, eh?
Yeah. Hit up Frankel. Frankel has private jet connections, I think.
Fucking hey, that guy's everywhere.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Yep.
Literally. Noam, where can we find you? What are you doing? What's happening?
My main role is I edit the preview Percy bit on kumb.com, and I sort of help out. We also do a thing for most games called Eyes Up Mother Brown. Basically, if you can't get to see the game, you haven't got a stream or you haven't got it on TV, there'll be 3 or 4 old idiots, often including myself if I'm not at the game myself, talking rubbish about the game. And it's all a bit of fun. But just visit kumb.com for all your news and madness.
Definitely my personal favorite live streams of the match, like the watch-alongs. Definitely. Just to get, again, like you guys know your shit.
It's just 3 or 4 old guys talking rubbish about football, which
again,
is.
I trust. Again, I would trust 3 or 4 old guys. His opinion on the matter, right? You guys have been around, you know your shit. So anyway,
you'll know me from the others because I'm the one who's got hair still. So
nice.
Just before we go, I've got to say this just because I'm telling everybody because I'm dining out on this one, but. On the way to the Frankfurt game, now I live in London and I'm 61 years old. So over 60 in London, you get free travel on the tubes and buses.
Really?
And I got stopped on my way to the game, going into the tube, but by a ticket inspector, plainclothes guy with his badge and everything, who took a lot. He wanted to see my photo pass and all that just to check it was genuinely mine because he didn't think I was old enough for the type of pass that went through the gate. So, and I had a witness as well, which, so I've just been telling you, too young to have this pass. Yeah.
Yeah. You got carded. That's great.
Yeah. So, made my day. That was probably the highlight of the evening, really.
Wally, I'm sure they can find you on Twitter. That's where you do all your mayhem, and that's where you do your most damage.
Exactly.
Wally World 999 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I don't even know what it is, but there's very few Wally Worlds around.
But obviously, you can find you here on Tuesdays.
That's right, Tuesday mornings. Yeah.
So that said, anybody who still is watching this after an hour, if you want to join the show and you have not joined the show yet, the Tuesday show, like we're trying to make it so that it's me and Wally plus all new faces every single episode. So if you haven't been on the show yet, come on in. If you want to host a show on another time, another day on our channel, you're more than welcome to. It's an open family here. We it doesn't matter where in the world you are, you can host a show on our channel any day, any night. And if you want to co-host, you want to guest, you want to host a game show, we have game shows that we need hosts for, etc., etc. So just get involved. Also, there's a link in the description for our shop, which I will make sure that we get those 7-to-1 shirts up there hopefully sooner than later. But there's also supporters clubs from all over the world, really, but also mostly in the United States, like DC Hammer or DC Irons or Boston Hammers, etc. Their logos on it, and we split the profits 50-50 with the supporters groups if you buy those shirts. Otherwise, anything you buy in our shop, there's fuck Spurs, there's dear Spurs fuck you, there's so many cool stuff in there, and a lot of anti-Spurs stuff, which is always a bonus. Just help us out, it'd be great. And other than that, thank you so much to everybody in the chat. That was Happy Hammerette, Helen Ludlow, good to see you actually catch this live. Ken, New Hampshire Hammer, Mark, Gary, Lee, Jesus Christ, how many Marks and Larrys? And a lot today.
It's the same guy 8 times.
It could be. No, it's spelled differently, I swear. But anyway, thank you all for watching, and make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, please. And we'll see you next Tuesday. But also, oh Jesus, I shouldn't say that, but yeah. So I keep forgetting about that.
Nobody noticed.
Lee will be doing our Lee will be doing a show, I think Friday, hopefully, or if not, then Monday. Who knows? Hopefully, we'll do another show. And if not, please, again, we need more people doing shows again. So help us out. Anyway, I'll talk to Gnome and Ray and Wally off the air. Everybody else, have a great day. Come on, you fucking irons.
Irons,
anyway,
yeah.
Sorry about that.
Cheers,
pardon my language. Have a great day.